are headed outdoors bound this morning, where bass fishing is huge in our region, but this time of year, bass can be harder to catch.
Yeah, never fear though. George Noleff of our outdoors bound team talked to a bass expert on how you can overcome the fall transition.
We need to bring up our leader since day number one. An unbelievable 27 Bassmaster top 10s, a 12-time Bassmaster Classic qualifier, an Elite Series champion from Salem, Virginia, the cruise missile, John Cruz.
There's no doubt in John Cruz's credentials. He's one of the top pros on the Bassmaster Elite circuit, and he's the owner of Salem-based Missile Baits. This could be a tough time of year for bass anglers, so when we had questions about fishing the fall transition, we knew Cruz would have the answers.
As we go into the fall, the bait starts to come up shallower, the bait really starts to scatter, and so the fish are scattered as well. They're in the backs of the creeks, they're up shallow, they're a little deeper, they're in between. It just makes them harder to pinpoint.
How should we adapt our techniques to hook up with those transition bass?
Going out there and catching bass in that fall transition period, you need to use lures that can either cover water or emulate exactly what those fish are feeding on. Probably my number one go-to in the fall is going to be a jig. This is a Missile Jigs mini flip jig. This type of jig has got a little chunk trailer on there. It looks just like a little crawfish swimming around.
John says downsizing can be effective in the fall too. He suggests a Ned rig just to generate bites. He also likes buzz baits to cover water, especially if you're fishing the back of creek arms like we have at area reservoirs. Another good technique is to throw a shaky head jig with a straight worm.
All right, George, so what do you mean when you say straight worm? What's that mean?
Well, you know, I always bring my toys with me to play with. This is a straight worm. This is a 6-inch long magic worm for Missile Baits, made right here in America. And the reason it's called a straight worm is there's no curly tail, no flat flipper tail. The action on it, if you wacky rig it like that, is real subtle as it drops. And the other thing to know about this is we look at this as a worm. The bass doesn't. What the bass does is it picks up the vibration with its lateral line. It senses it as a dying bait fish. Easy meal, just like if a cheeseburger dropped out of the sky in front of us here. The other cool thing, I talked to John. He's got a new product line coming out, again, made in America, headquartered right here in Virginia. I can't talk about it yet, but I'm going to have that story for you next week when I can.
Oh, what a tease.
So full of secrets, right? Well, we'll definitely be looking forward to that story. Now, tell me one more thing about that. They have something on them, right?
They're salt impregnated. That way when the fish bites into it, it has there's a flavor that it senses as food. And so here. That's called PB&J, peanut butter and jelly. It's brown.
Does it smell?
Yeah, it also has some scent in there, usually crayfish scent.
Oh, there is salt.
Yeah, I felt it yesterday when he was putting this stuff together.
Look at all that salt.
Yeah, I know. Just like some chips, you try to eat just one and salt gets you.
Yeah, they got to have more.
Right. George Noleff, always a pleasure to have you in on Thursday mornings with our WFXR's Outdoors Bound team. Thank you so much.
Thank you.